Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm a Blue Diamond from San Diego, California. I love San Diego. Favorite oil, I would say citrus bliss and sandalwood. I can never decide between the two. It depends on which mood. If I need a musty little smell, you know, like a man.
Hi, I'm Michelle White. I'm from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia. And my favorite oil, I'm obsessed with Hope lately.
Well, my name is Kenny Wahlberg. I am from Forest Hill, California, in the middle of nowhere. And I guess I'm kind of outnumbered up here today. My favorite oil, I give you two. One is the one. I like to wear that, but I have peppermint, you know, because there's so many good uses. Blue Diamond, by the way. Blue Diamond, sorry.
I'm Megan Reeves, and I am from Manhattan Beach, California, and I'm a platinum, and my favorite is to actually layer passion and hope together. Although we were just slathering ourselves in like liquid Xanax backstage, so.
Hi, I'm Amy Pettinga. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Blue Diamond, and I get teased a lot when I teach 101 classes because I start every single new oil that I'm going to talk about by saying it's my favorite, because I just can't decide. But if I had to decide, it would be probably Douglas fir. Oh.
All right, here's the first question. You guys are going to have to take notes because we've got some great people up here. What is the secret sauce to sharing the business with somebody?
Secret sauce. My secret sauce is I actually just wait to see the inspiration and the light up inside of them, and then I approach it. I really move organically when I'm building my business, and you can kind of see them from a mile away, and then you just tread lightly and feel them out.
I would agree with that in the sense of if you're creating a culture and an experience for people within whatever you're doing. So whether it's you or with your upline, you're going to start to see the lights come on, like you said, and people will, if you engage them in those conversations and you ask them, you know, I think you might be good at this business. You might like this. Have you ever thought of that? And then they go, you know what? I think I might. So.
I love that. I think the key is keeping it really fun, because people love to do things that are fun. And also, I've found that people who necessarily just come for the business opportunity haven't always worked out, at least on my team. So I love people who fall in love with the oils, you know, become raving oil fans, and then it seems so natural that that's the gateway drug to wanting to build.
I think that there are as many secret sauces to invitation as there are people, but one of the main things that is super important that we do is always make it about them. So understanding, often we have our story, we have the things that we love, we have our favorite oils, we have the reasons why we do the business, but if we just kind of, excuse the kind of rude term, but if we just verbal vomit our reasons onto them, it's not necessarily going to connect unless they're exactly like us, and they're not going to be. So when you make it about them, it really requires you to take the time to build a relationship with them and have the understanding of what makes them tick. So we call them pain points on our team, is understanding what are they up at night Googling? What problem are they trying to solve? What are they trying to solve with oils? What would be the reason why they would need to do the business? And to be able to meet them in that place and explain how our products and how our opportunity actually solves a problem that they know that they have. You could even be looking at them and say, oh, you have this problem we need to address. But if that's not what they're wanting to address, if that's not what they're in pain about, then you're not going to connect, even though it may be the truth, even though it may be needed. So understanding, building relationship, and meeting them in the place that they are at, and providing a solution to their specific pain and problem.
Fantastic. Next question, what does the inviter's mindset have to be like before extending an invitation?
One thing I was going to say, I love all the advice they gave on how to really do the invitation. And the inviter's mindset, one thing I wanted to add to this is, what I noticed when my friend Kirsten invited me is that she became a better friend. She was already a good friend would answer my calls and talk with me, but all of a sudden she became better. So the mindset for that person obviously is going to be really based on your relationship with them and becoming a better friend. I think to me that was like the biggest thing. And so I noticed when I started doing this business, it really opened my mind to how I could be a better friend to serve them. And then easily, once that friendship develops, their mindset, it just flows, and it naturally you can bring in that conversation. I know with Kirsten, she didn't push the business. She definitely mentioned it, talked about what she was doing, but she was just a better friend than she had been, and she had always been a good friend. So that would be my biggest advice.
I would add to that, open-handed. So whether or not they want to end up joining your team, and it needs to be open-handed on both sides, because you should be really looking at them on the same side. Do they fit who you are as a team? Because think about some of the things that were shared by David Sterling yesterday about the culture. If they're all about just the opportunity and you're all about the product, that's going to change the culture of your team. So you should be listening, asking good clarifying questions and finding out. So if you don't know them, you want to make sure that this is going to be a good fit for them as well as for you. And we've had people where at the beginning, they were all gung-ho, but then a life circumstance happened. And then we didn't write them off. We kept believing in them and just waited. And a year goes by and they're ready again. So just staying open-handed with the timing of it and just being relaxed in it.
I would say definitely, I love that. Being confident, so confident in the oils. Obviously you have a story and the oils have worked for you, and the oils really do the heavy lifting and speak for themselves. And then also be really generous. Like for me, I always have oils on me. I've signed up so many people on airplanes. I'm like, oh, you're tired, should I basil you? Like, oh, something's wrong. All day long, people will tell you that they didn't sleep, their kids have allergies, they hate their husband. I'm like, there's an oil for that. Come here, let me put it on you. And so just like be you and be generous and confident. And I turn oils into verbs. Yeah, it's true.
So on my team, we definitely practice our invitations, and knowing what the words are that you're going to say ahead of time is super helpful to get you past kind of the nerves and the discomfort maybe of opening up a conversation. But it is my absolute honest and true belief that the mindset that you actually approach with is so much more important than anything that you say or even the way that you say it. So I want to talk to the women in the room for just a second. I see that there's a lot of them. So when I was a kid, it was me and my sister, and my dad always had a saying, and it was, children are to be seen and not heard. And what I kind of took from that and then actually went out into society, and that message was solidified again and again and again, is really that women are to be seen and not heard, and that we are valuable when we are shrinking and getting smaller and more quiet. And so I've seen this in myself, and I've dealt with it and coached so many more women through it, is that we tend to apologize for taking up space. We tend to apologize for asking for something. And when you realize what's really going on and shift your mindset about the oils and the opportunity, is when you'll really step into your power as a leader. Because a lot of times, especially at this rank at silver, we kind of see it as like we're asking them for something. Like, will you enroll? Will you join me in this business? And there's an element to it of that, but I see that like kind of apology for existing, an apology for asking for something. But really what you are is you're not a problem, you're a solution. You are a solution, and I'm not talking about just dōTERRA. I'm not actually talking about dōTERRA at all. dōTERRA is the tool, dōTERRA is the vehicle, but you are the solution. You're an answer to a prayer that a mother has prayed in darkness about her child's ADHD or her way that she's going to pay her bills or buy a soccer uniform. And when you understand, really, really internalize that is the case, you are offering something of immeasurable value and showing up in that and not apologizing for bringing the solution and bringing the answer that you are with these incredible tools and this incredible company and this incredible opportunity, that it changes everything.
Try to lead with excitement and encouragement and hope, and that's when I'm inviting people to classes or one-on-ones, making takes, or even the business. I just feel if you lead with positivity and if you recognize you're getting an uncomfortable feeling with your invitation, step back, reevaluate it, and then reapproach it, maybe even at a different time. Because the energy that comes through your message to whoever you're speaking to is going to affect everything from the very beginning.
Good, all good stuff. All right, what are the different types of invitations that we all need to become familiar with, or we should become familiar with? And in addition to that, what is the wording for those invitations? That's a loaded question.
I love my team. We have an amazing culture where we share. We don't have scripts per se, but we just, if somebody has sent something out, we'll post it on our team page. So we kind of all collaborate, and we all have a very different approach on how we do things, and sometimes their way of addressing and inviting somebody speaks better to somebody that I'm trying to connect with. So I think work with your team. Don't always just go your way. Go, definitely collaborate, because you'll get different angles from it, which makes it fun.
Just thought of, when she was kind of talking and collaborating with her team, it's such a great idea. So one of the things that we can do as a team, and I do in Mastering Invitation for just in listening to the oils or trying an oil, is sharing other people's stories. Because you always run into somebody, like even me, myself this morning, I'm like, oh, my back hurts, and I grab my copaiba. And I maybe would share, so the other day I had somebody telling me that, their wrist has been hurting them for years, and I said, I have somebody that, it's kind of nice when you can take it off of you from your own opinion and use someone from your team. So I actually told Shelly, she's in here, my silver, and I used her story of her husband who had this pain for so many years, actually, I don't even know how many years, 20 years, and with the deep blue and frankincense, was able to about take the pain away, or I should just say this all compliantly, was able to ease some of his discomfort, about 50%. And then when copaiba came out, he started using that, and it's like 100% discomfort is gone. So I love that, and I can share this discomfort story with another person. And since I'm the one that sells the oils, which is just fine, but it's nice to have a story from another person when you collaborate like that, because then you're just passing along a good information, just like, the movie Avatar was so good, my friend saw it, we should go see it this weekend, So just kind of taking it in a different context really helps.
I think what you said is important in terms of, if you have someone you're meeting with them, don't vomit on them every single possibility of every single oil. Find out what's going on with them and their family. Maybe it's, some kind of pain, anxious feeling, sleep-related thing. That's pretty much most of what people are going through, right? I mean, that's the general easy, and those are the easy ones to deal with. So if they kind of don't tell you it's crickets, then ask them, does anybody deal with any of those things? And they'll start telling you a story, and you just listen. And then after you've listened and showed value to them, then you add value back. And then you just share, like the story that you mentioned. So it's sometimes just slowing down and thinking about the other person first instead of yourself. And it's easy because you're like, oh my gosh, another customer? We might get someone this time, and I haven't had one in 2 weeks, and what am I gonna do? And so you just gotta slow down, take a deep breath, and just focus on them first. If you do that first, usually things will come to you.
I love that, Kenny. Desperation is always a turnoff, right? In any situation, don't be desperate. I would say be consistent, and also sometimes it's not no, it's just not yet. Like, I had a really great friend in high school who we were best friends, and we ran into each other, and she was having twins 4 years ago. So naturally, for her baby shower gift, I gave her a family physician's kit. which she never opened. Like, I was like, what do you mean you never opened it? You know, she's dealing with all these things, diaper rashes, kids aren't sleeping, stomachache, all this stuff. I'm like, hello, I sent you, you know, but I lived across the country from her. And what's funny is that we were together in May because our other friend was getting married and she was sick. And so I gave her an aroma touch, and of course, anyone who goes on a vacation with me is oiled all the time. You know, I have the diffuser, I'm like, oh, you know, we need an oil for this, oil for that. And so it just came alive for her. And her little girl had had a cough that she'd taken to specialists for a long time, coughed for 2 years. And I said, well, you know, you could use Breathe for respiratory support. Is that compliant? And so she went home, and literally within a week, her daughter no longer has a cough. She started building. She hosted a class, had 22 moms there, only me. I didn't stop talking about oils till 1 a.m. And it was awesome, and she just hit Premiere. So she started building in November, hit Premiere, and has her 250 bonus. So, like, don't give up on people, you know, just keep inviting, keep being you, and trust the process and the timeline that's right for them.
I want to ask you guys all a question. What's the longest time it took from the first time you asked someone to the time they finally signed up or did the business? How long?
Well, that would be the 4-year person, but I'm glad I waited for her.
Gosh, 3-4 years also.
Yeah, probably about the same, 3 or 4 years. Just depends on the person, I guess. Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
I'll have been building for 2 years in May, and I'm still enrolling people that I just shared with, like, at the very beginning.
And that it just makes the point. So someone, it's not yet, not the no, it's no, not yet. And you'll just see that. And what's nice about that is it changes your posture in every conversation. So when they say it, you're not like, you're just like, okay, it's fine. And when they see that you're not, it's not a big deal to you in that respect, the trust goes up because you're not trying to just sell them. And the longer you do it, then the longer you're doing the business too. Yes, it's true.
So going to the next part, how do you set up a conversation so it's actually natural and not scripted?
Make it personal. Make it again about them. If you're just focused, always never like just send a message to somebody you haven't seen since high school and be like, hey, I'm having an oil class, would you like to come? You need to like reintroduce yourself. Remember me? How are things going? I hear you're married, you have kids. So touch base on a very personal level first and wait for a response. Engage in that response and then lead into why you're reaching out. And I usually don't reach out unless I know there's an actual need. I just don't, but that's my personal approach.
I was just thinking, when I lived in South America for a couple of years and then did a service mission, and when I got home, this is before like email, so I was dating myself. This is before like email was huge. And I remember I got this like cute stationery paper, and you know, I wanted to tell, there's a ton of people I'd met in those 2 years, so I wanted to kind of tell them, say, hi, how are you? And then say, you know, what's going on? And so I did this, okay, I was young, and I copied it, and then I wrote a personal note at the end. Nobody wrote me back, okay? In fact, one person was actually offended that I'd copied, and so anyway, like she was saying, make it really personal. But on the sides of the scripts, like for me, it really works to memorize information about the oils and about the business that you can spout out, because they're going to ask those questions. And I tell my team, if you have a skeleton framework, you can make the rest of the body look different, but at least you have the skeleton memorized. Because what happens when you get either on a stage or in front of someone, and maybe you're a little nervous, what happens to the words? Like, see you later, you know, they start taking the night train home. So if you have like your skeleton base memorized of what are oils or what is the compensation plan, it really keeps those nerves down. And sometimes when people ask me questions like, about essential oils in the brain, for example, is my big forte, and I just spout blah, 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 and they're like, whoa. And you really know what you're talking about. And so it's good to have a skeleton, but then like, you know, everybody said, keep the body different and personal. You don't need to photocopy a cute piece of stationery because then no one's gonna write you back.
So I would just echo on what Danielle is saying, and identify what I call the transitions. So when you're going to want to talk about oils, like have you considered natural solutions for your health? That's one. When you're teaching all the way through your class, and then you come to a point where you're going to need to transition into inviting them to get a kit, those are key elements that you need to have prepared, because that is memorized and practiced, because that will take so much pressure. That's when the nerves do start kind of coming up, and that will take so much pressure off of it. I think it's Mark Wahlberg, or not Wahlberg, that's Marky Mark. Who's the guy? Who owns Facebook? Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. I think it was him. It might not even be. But somebody, Steve Jobs, it doesn't matter. They have the same outfit that they wear every single day, right? It's a t-shirt and jeans, and they have a bunch of them, but they don't have to go to their closet. The point is that they don't have to go to their closet and determine, again, every single day what they're gonna wear. So it saves that little bit of brain space. And if you do this with your presentations and your invitations and your conversation starters and those key transitional moments, you know exactly what to say. You can, like Danielle said about putting the body on the skeleton, you can tailor the rest of it to be different. But if you have those key transitions memorized, it takes the brain power away from, or the nerves away from having, what am I gonna say, to being able to actually look in their eyes, listen to what they're saying, and connect with them.
Yeah, I would say number one is authenticity. So, never copying cute stationery, photocopying, right? Which we all do. We're all excited in the beginning. Before I read GoPro, I was like, oh man, I've been doing so much wrong. Holy cow. So don't send group text messages, group Facebook messengers to 50 people, spamming your Facebook wall. I would say look at what's working. Look at what people are responding to. And now when there's specials, I send an individualized message like, hey, I know you've been having trouble sleeping, and look, it's Buy Serenity Get Balance for free. What do you think? Would you like that great deal? I thought of you. Those kind of things that make people feel cared about, and like you're thinking about what's right for them, not what's right for you. You're not like trying to get an enrollment or more volume to hit your rank or whatever. So I would say that that's the most important thing, is authenticity.
Yeah, a couple of things that our team does is we'll either an appointment or a class, we'll take notes on what they're saying. Like we're talking and asking about what's going on with their, tell me about your family and the things that are going on. Just take, is it okay if I take some notes, because I want to get back to that as we come in the conversation. The other thing is just starting the conversation and building rapport right off the bat, and having what's called dynamic listening. So you're thinking about, or you write a note to yourself that will cue you to go back to whatever they said that was important to them. And then when you see something that you see importance, dig a little deeper with someone, because the more you can get to the point of pain in someone's life, and how can you help them through that pain, you're gonna change their life. Because aren't we all here to want to change lives? It's not just about the sale, right? It's about, how do I help this person's life be changed? We've seen many people on our team, like their kids, bedwetters, not doing anywhere. They go to sleepovers now. And it's incredible. And just finding out, you found that out during the course of a conversation, because you took the time to listen and then go back and answer it with something. The other thing I would say is do some research. Like we created a page just of testimonies. We have a Facebook page, and we won't put any questions. People give questions, we delete it. And so it's only testimonies that people share how the oils have worked, or a product. And then I just read through those, and then you'd be really surprised the next time you meet with someone. You know what? I read this testimony just the other day. And that's really how we got started, to be able to share with people and have a ready story, because it was fresh. It just happened.
So what is it that you guys are doing on your teams to help them understand how to master the invitation to join? I think it stumped them.
Well, you teach them. It's pretty simple. The first thing, I guess, is always lead by example. So as you develop you're in a leadership rank, and as you develop into that and beyond your rank that you're currently at, you always want to be doing and showing up the way that you want your team to show up. So the most important thing is that you're doing it. And the second thing is to be engaged, and also this goes back to what I shared earlier about being a solution and not a problem. Your team needs to hear from you. You need to get on the Zoom chats with them, and you need to be seen as an expert, and you need to be providing that solution. Those people have been attracted onto your team, and you may not feel like it yet, but the reality is that you are leading them, and to step up into that and teach them what to do.
Another thing I was going to say, I was just thinking, when I lived in France for a little while, and I love those fast trains, right? They can go clear down to like southern France in like 2 hours. I'm just kidding, I don't know if it's that fast, but it was just, I love that you could just get anywhere fast like that. And a while ago, it was a sidetrack, but we had a vote here in California if we could build one from San Diego to San Francisco, and I was like, I don't care how much money, yes, I want that. But there's no fast train in your business. And I make sure that when I say, like when I talk about silvers or maybe elites, whenever I talk about a rank, I call them earlier ranks. They're not lower ranks, they're earlier ranks, because it's all just time. And so in my team, what I really focus on, really their strengths, because it's really that you're just not presidential diamond yet. Last night we got to have dinner with David Sterling, and I said, these are my future presidential diamonds. I mean, it's really just time and allowing your journey for what you need to learn and grow be okay. Something that I've shared before is, so when I hit platinum, blue diamond, and blue diamond all in 1 year really quick, and I was kind of keeping up with the time frame that my upline had hit it. They hit presidential diamond, most of them within 4 years. My 4th year came and I didn't hit presidential diamond. And my first thought was, because again, this is earlier time for me, I was like, what am I doing wrong? I hit the other ranks at the same pretty much same pace. Why didn't I hit presidential diamond at their pace? And so immediately I was like attacking myself. And it really, what I had to learn, because again, it's all that journey, whether you're on fast train, slow train, there's really not a fast train to your self-development. And learning that we all have our own individual reasons and timing for why our business goes in whatever pace it goes, and just loving and embracing that. They had different circumstances that pushed them to go faster than I did. There were different. They lost everything, had to live with in-laws. I had a nice condo in San Diego. I didn't want to lose that. I'm like, no, I'm good. Don't take that. I'll just build at my pace. So my point being is really, like we're focusing on here at leadership, focusing on your strengths will really help you master that invitation. And even sharing your strengths with people. When you master the invitation to build and say, hey, one of my strengths is I'm an achiever. It's actually my top strength. So as a business partner with you, I'm going to achieve, and I'm going to help you achieve, because I'm here for you to help you achieve your dreams. So you don't have to say achieve 20 times. But anyway, point being, just focusing on your strengths. I think that's the biggest thing for me, mastering invitation.
One thing that our team has been doing recently, we had a training a few months ago, and I didn't realize how powerful it was, the role playing, but what we did was we had our team get someone out in front and try to figure out an area they were struggling in. And so we helped them come up with there was like a script or the way that they wanted to say it. So they wrote it out, we helped them craft it, and then we said, they read it out loud. How does that sound to you? Well, you make some adjustments. Okay, now, I'll say it first, and then you tell me what you think. And then they would say it, and then the first time it felt really kind of awkward. Then we say, okay, well, let's do it again. I'll say it, then you say it. And then they got a little bit better. By the third time, I could see the countenance in that person, because now they were kind of starting to own it. So the practice of the role playing and doing it 3 times or more to the point where it becomes natural to you is going to be good. Because if you haven't gone out and then you try to go say something the first time, well, what was the first time? It was awkward. So don't go out and be awkward, right? Know a little bit about what you're already going to say, how you feel about it.
Being silver, you have 3 people underneath you now that are really looking up to you, and you need to start leading them. So I would start doing a Facebook Live for them on a regular basis and talking about the things that you're doing within your business and the things that they should be maybe focusing on their business. I love the idea of the role playing. When I was struggling with my clothes, I actually taped my clothes, and I just did it in my bathroom. I felt like a total nerd, but I saw what I looked like the first time when I videotaped it, and then I did it again, and I did it again, and I kept doing it, and then I saw my body language change. And now, because I have my skeleton outline, when I'm in a class or one-on-one setting and it's time to transition, I'm able to just close. And then when you're doing your Facebook Lives for your team and you're teaching them how to invite and how to lead, you'll get better and better at it too. So it takes a little practice and it takes a little bit of nerves, but in order to really go from silver to gold, this is when you have to own your business as a leader. This room is all about going big now. You're not in the lower ranks anymore.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for being on the panel. Can you give them a round of applause? Thanks so much. We're actually going to end. This concludes the first session of the Silver